Hey everyone, welcome to FanRag Sports Studio. I'm Sande Charles, and we are talking NFL, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm here with two crazy Eagles fans. We got Colton and we got Robert.
Crazy's accurate.
It is. Yeah. You guys are crazy. Gonna get crazy here. I'm gonna ask them some questions, all things Eagles. Robert, I'm gonna ask you first. How do they address the wide receiver situation?
Well, my personal opinion, and I wrote a column on this on FanRag Sports, that the Eagles, if they are really serious about surrounding Carson Wentz with the best weapons, they need to go for the best, and the best is Alshon Jeffrey. He's going to sign for about 5 years, probably $70 million in that range. So it's going to be tied up against the cap since they have limited cap room. They're going to make some adjustments to clear up some cap space. But Jeffrey, he's 6'3", 218 pounds. He can leap out of the sky. He's perfect for Wentz because Wentz, as he likes to describe, is a gunslinger himself. He's not afraid to take chances, and pairing Jeffrey with Wentz is perfect for Wentz.
And I absolutely agree with you. Alshon Jeffrey would be a perfect fit. I also think I don't think the Eagles should go out and address the wide receiver situation through the draft, just because there's so many other needs that they need to address through the draft, like running back, corner, as we're going to talk about later on. We're going to get to that. But there's so much talent in the free agent pool this offseason with guys like Kenny Stills and potential homecoming with Deshaun Jackson. Maybe it wouldn't be opposed to that. They definitely need somebody that's going to stretch the field. That's what they lacked last season. It was no secret that their wide receiver core was probably the worst in the NFL. So they need to go out and get somebody that can stretch the field. If they miss out on Alshon for whatever reason, go out and get a guy like Kenny Stills, Deshaun Jackson. I know you mentioned Kendall Wright early on. Any of those guys would be perfect.
Any of them. You're both in agreement, so I like that. Let's see if the next question you'll both be in agreement. Keeping it on this side of the ball, running back. What do they need to do in running back?
Well, I think they could certainly address it through the draft. It is also a very deep running back draft. There's guys like, McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook and all those other guys out there. That's no secret. But I'm going to agree with him again here because I know we were talking about it early on. He said they should go corner in the first round.
You guys cheated before this? Yeah, darn it. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, he said they should go running back, in the first round.
Yeah.
Or did you say corner or running back?
Corner.
Corner. That's what I was trying to say. They should go corner in the first round because it is a deep running back draft. They should get that running back later on. The only reason I'm concerned, however, is because they traded all those picks to get Wentz last year. They did get the first round back from the Vikings in the Bradford deal, but they're a little their picks are a little scarce this year, so they have to be very careful about how they use those picks. But I do think running back should be a guy that they take early or later on in the draft. They have Wendell Smallwood, who showed flashes last year, still very unproven. Darren Sproles, he's getting older, should have another season left in him maybe. Ryan Matthews, the neck injury, that's cause for concern. But you should give Wendell Smallwood another year, take another guy that you can bring in and get acclimated to the league. But, yeah, that's probably what they should do.
And do you agree, or do you disagree on any of this?
Well, I disagree on some parts, but I agree on most. I think that they should attack the running back situation in the draft and later on, but not super late, possibly the second or third round or maybe fourth. Guys available could be Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams out of BYU is a solid option. I don't think they should spend a first rounder on Dalvin Cook or Leonard Fournette. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with it since it would be surrounding Wentz with more weapons and elite weapons, but the first round should be spent on a cornerback. And also, I heard you talk about that the Eagles are a little scarce with draft picks. They got a first rounder, second rounder. I believe they have 8 or 9 picks this year, which is still pretty good. It means they have multiple picks in some rounds, but I don't think they're missing any picks in a certain round.
So
it's hard to keep up with all these trades sometimes.
That's and let's talk about that because there seems to always be questions around cornerback. So let's talk about defense. And what do they need to do? Do they need to go to the draft and pull from these guys or free agency? Let's hear from you first.
Free agency, the Eagles have gotten burned that way before. Nnamdi Asomugha, I'm sure everybody remembers. I mean, they've gotten Asante Samuel, who he panned out. And then you had Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie come over in the Kevin Cobb trade. Cromartie's a very talented cornerback, but he just didn't work in the Eagles system. That was led by then offensive line coach turned defensive coordinator Juan Castillo. So I think if the Eagles are really serious about turning around the secondary, they should pursue a cornerback in the first round. The guys available should be Marshawn Lattimore from Ohio State, Sidney Jones from Washington, I mean, if they were going to go in free agency, I wouldn't recommend it. But Stephon Gilmore would make sense. He's going to be expensive. He's said to be looking for about $13 or $14 million. That's according to reports out of Buffalo. And he's got familiarity with Jim Schwartz's scheme, Eagles defensive coordinator. I mean, I could see it happening if Schwartz really pounds the table for him, but I think the most likely way is through the draft.
Now, do you agree going early for a cornerback?
I do agree. It would make sense, cornerback, running back, either way I'm fine with. But I am also very skeptical of free agent cornerbacks with good reason. Most recently, Byron Maxwell. That didn't really work out.
Good call.
But I do, just because of all of the times that the Eagles have been burned with signing free agent corners, I think it's been so long since they took a corner early in the draft and it actually panned out. I think first round this year they should go corner and start to invest in the future at that position so we can stop talking about this, because I feel like we're talking about
always,
it
every year.
every single year.
Every
Who are the
season.
Eagles going to get at corner this year? I think they have, we were talking about this before, they have Jalen Mills on their roster definitively right now, and that's it, right?
Yeah, well, they have Ron Brooks under contract.
Who could be a cap casualty.
Yeah, he's due $1.6 million.
Yeah.
I'd say about $1 million in cap space.
So let's stop talking about corner. Go out and get a corner in the first round, and
No
let's
more
just
talking.
put this question to rest.
One thing that I feel like every season, every offseason, we're always talking about also is offensive line.
Yep.
Could this be cause for concern? And I want you to start with this one.
Yeah, I think you saw it last year. The Eagles' decline started when Lane Johnson was suspended again, which is the most frustrating thing. And I feel like year after year, the offensive line is sort of kind of a strong suit for them in a sense. But I think the problem also comes with Jason Peters and his cap number this year. He's getting older and he's due a ton of money, and it's been discussed that might be a problem. So getting rid of somebody like Peters, if he is cut, I hope it doesn't happen, but if he is cut, that could cause some problems on the offensive line. Jason Kelsey has been back and forth. So they also have Brandon Brooks, I think, at guard. So I don't think it could be cause for concern, but I don't think this year. I think it's getting to the point where they have to start to get some young talent in there, and they did this year with his name is so hard to pronounce. I'm just going to call him Big V.
Halapulavati Vaitai.
Wow,
There you
got
go.
that?
There you go.
I'm
Nailed
gonna call
it.
him Big V. He gets
First
the credit
try,
for
look at
that.
that.
So they have other concerns other than offensive line that they need to go out and address first.
Yeah,
is kind of what you're saying.
offensive line I think should be the least of their worries because they have so many other things that they have
They
to worry
need to
about.
work. There's so many red flags. And do you agree with that,
Exactly.
Robert?
I do. I think you talked about Kelsey and Jason Peters. Peters, according to ESPN's Adam Kaplan, is already talking about a contract restructure. It wouldn't be a pay cut necessarily. He'd just be making less money in 2017, and it would probably transfer more over to years beyond. And then you were talking about Kelsey. I've read multiple reports out of Philadelphia that Kelsey is more than likely gone. He is an undersized center. He's very athletic. He was great under Andy Reid at the end with offensive line coach Howard Mudd. But now with Doug Peterson's system, and he struggled last year, I should say, with Chip Kelly. He's an undersized center, and when he would go up against 3-4 nose tackles, he'd just get bolos right in the backfield. And there's a lot of talk that if the Eagles move on from Kelsey, they can move on, or they can move Isaac Seumalo, third-round pick out of Oregon State last year, to center, and then that would leave him with a hole at left guard. They have Alan Barber under contract. He might be a cap casualty as well, so they'd have a hole at left guard. They could, if they want to go offensive line in the draft. It's a weak draft for offensive line, but there's Forrest Lamp. Don't know what college, but he would be a very good fit. He's been compared to Zach Martin from the Cowboys and Cody Whitehair from the Bears, both of whom are very solid players. And if the Eagles got him, it'd be set. It would be a very good offensive
Knows
line.
these players inside and out, breaking it down right here. Two fans that really, they agreed on everything. FanRag Sports for everything NFL and all of your sports.